Comedy Pilot presents. Good evening. It's the 30th of October 2025 and this is a United State of News. I'm Johnson Hood and these are the headlines. Escaped monkey thought to have herpes because he is king of the swingers. Rachel Reeves to defy gloomy economic forecast by wearing something cheeky. Raper ICE agents give kidnapper ICE agents a bad name. But first, Trump self-identifies as a builder, which is probably why the cost of his presidency has been higher than first thought. Thankfully, we have been spared the sight of his arse crack, unless you count J.D. Vance, as he now prepares to build a ballroom extension to the White House by first destroying the East Wing. Initially, the East Wing was to remain untouched, with Trump stating the new construction wouldn't interfere with the current building. It would be near it, but not touching. The line of defence he should have used after being accused of sexually assaulting women. The ballroom cost has gone from $230 million to $300 million. But, as always, the same list of sycophantic donors who paid for Trump's inauguration have paid for the ballroom. A pattern of behaviour that should worry them if Trump ever needs a kidney, though no doubt they'll donate one of their house staff at that point. The architect behind the ballroom is James McCreary, who once gave a talk for the Heritage Foundation at Hillsdale College, the same college who sits on the advisory board for Project 2025, leading to the question of whether Trump knows anyone who isn't a dick. McCreary designed the space to be 90,000 square feet, giving Trump plenty of room to host those teen beauty pageants he's so fond of. The ballroom will be completed before Trump leaves office in 2028, or 2032, 2036, who knows. But as the cost and hubris of Trump's construction grows, so do the lines at American food banks. Coming at a time of the second longest government shutdown where federal workers are going without pay, Trump's vanity ballroom project displays the same kind of bad taste that decorated the Oval Office in gold. And now a word from our sponsors. This week's episode is brought to you by our own self-interest. We like bringing you all the snark fit to print, but it might also be important. There's a lot to be said for highlighting the hypocrisy, the stupidity, and the corruption of politicians that claim to have our best interests at heart. That's why we're asking you to spread the word about the Comedy Pilot Presents podcast. Make us like a good COVID, so there isn't an airport, cafe, or sex island where you can't catch us. Mention us on social media, send a podcast link to a friend, and if you let us know via the website, we'll name check you, or a silly name of your choice, in a future episode. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And now we go live to our roving reporter Billy Beans, who once auditioned for a role in EastEnders and failed miserably. What have you got for us, Billy?
If Kent County Council is viewed as the model of how reform intend to govern, it looks like that model has fallen on her bum in the middle of the catwalk. 5 councillors have now been suspended under an investigation relating to a leaked video which Reform says shows a lack of integrity. And when Nigel Farage says you lack integrity, you know you're a wrong 'un. The video was leaked to the Guardian newspaper and showed Council leader Lyndon Kamkamaran haranguing fellow councillors, stating that if they did not agree with her decision, they should fucking suck it up. The same advice given to Farage whenever he is pelted with a milkshake. Kamkamaran started her political career as a Tory candidate who stood for the Bradford East seat. She lost to Labour's Imran Hussain and was later investigated for Islamophobic retweets, where she stated Islam was a nasty culture. The inquiry was led by then Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and it is not clear what happened next. Given Johnson himself stated Muslim women in burqas looked like letterboxes, it is suspected not much. Regardless, it is no surprise Kamkamaran found a natural home in Reform. In her time as leader, She refused to fly the rainbow flag for Pride Month and called the Ukrainian flag in the council chambers a distraction. In the same way, a Russian drone strike can be distracting when it destroys a hospital. Kem Karan remains in post and has vowed to hunt down the cowards who released the video as soon as she gets back from holiday.
Good reporting. Now we join Virginia Cluckbucket for another instalment of her series examining American culture, called Toilet World. Toilet World, Toilet World, Toilet World, Toilet World, Toilet World.
American warships are descending upon the Venezuelan coast, as grey and as deadly as George Clooney, and not for the first time, the world is asking itself, what the fuck is going on? The answer may lie 9,500 miles away in China. Since taking office, Trump has been obsessed with rare earth minerals. It was behind his attempt to purchase Greenland, which he pursued in the same way he buys the affections of women. It is behind the flurry of deals made with Australia, Japan and Ukraine. Knowing these deals would take years to be fruitful, Trump looked to leverage South America, with varying degrees of success. He greased Argentinian palms with beef, quadrupling the amount they could import into the US, undercutting American ranchers, making them not so jolly anymore. He punished Brazil with a 50% tariff when they audaciously removed Trump's corrupt friend Bolsonaro from office, replacing him with a leader determined to shed US influence like a vet might deflea a dog. Like his South American counterparts, President Maduro of Venezuela offered the US a rare earth trade deal, but it was refused. Even though he used his best handwriting and everything, Venezuela's minerals are controlled by criminal gangs and paramilitaries who mine and smuggle them out of the country, meaning, if a deal was struck, supply would not be guaranteed. Threatening Venezuela with war scratches several itches for Trump. Firstly, it shows the world he is a big boy, even though the size of his waistband would be proof enough. Secondly, it's a distraction from Epstein, ballrooms, falling pole figures, and insert fuck up here. But thirdly, it puts Trump in striking distance of a regime change, removing Maduro and allowing himself to take over the mining operations by either killing or recruiting the criminals for ICE, leaving him free to fill his clown pockets with as many minerals or barrels of oil as he likes. And like knockoff trainers, it is China who is responsible. They hold the world reserves of rare earth minerals, and they dislike Trump as much as the next American, forcing him to go cap in hand to Asia and battleship in hand to Venezuela. Whether shots are fired or not, Maduro is about to feel the full weight of American influence, and given the size of Trump, that's going to be substantial.
Thank you, Virginia. And now we turn to our guest reporter, Footlong Simon, who has just been released from a Turkish prison. What have you got for us, Footlong?
3 people have been arrested under the National Security Act on suspicion of assisting Russian intelligence services. The police said the 3 men were hiding in plain sight. They each carried a sickle, a bottle of vodka, and were driving a T-72 tank at the time of their arrest. Locals interviewed by the police said they were quiet neighbours who kept themselves to themselves, except at weekends when they got drunk and did a Cossack dance. This follows on from 2 men and a woman being arrested in Essex on suspicion of spying on behalf of Russia last month, although what's worth spying on in Essex is unclear. In May, 6 Bulgarians were jailed for spying, and in July, 3 men were found guilty of an arson attack that was carried out after they were recruited by the Russian Wagner mercenary group. The Wagner Group is a private military organisation that acts on behalf of the Russian state. Not private enough, though, as everyone knows about it. MI6 has launched its own dedicated portal on the dark web, in the hope of attracting spies online, notably from Russia. But surely by advertising this, they've just gone and shone a very bright light on their not-so-dark web. MI5 boss, Sir Ken McCallum, said the intelligence agency is contending with huge volumes of terror investigations. There are cells hiding within cells, like those little Russian doll things. We don't know if the spies are in decreasing order of size like the dolls are, but they're definitely in hiding. He also said MI5 has seen a 35% increase in the number of individuals it was investigating in the last year. There's now more Russian spies in the UK than there is in a James Bond film.
And that has been the United State of News. I've been Johnson Hood. Good luck. United State of News is written by Sean Baines, with guest contribution by Ogie Harmon. It was performed by Sean and Gillian Baines, Ogie Harmon and the esteemed Alex Morrison. Don't forget to follow Comedy Pilot Presents Down a Dark Alley for next week's episode.